I still remember the vibration of my phone that night. I was in my apartment, back from another 12-hour shift, half asleep when the screen lit up. The message came from my mother. Cold, final, mocking. "We changed all the locks. You don't have a home anymore. Let's see how brave you are now. Ha ha." For a moment, my thumb hovered above the screen. I read it 3 times, letting the words sink in. My jaw clenched, but I didn't reply. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I simply smiled. Because they didn't realize home wasn't theirs to take. I grew up in that house. Every nail in the walls, every corner of that property carried my sweat. My father used me like free labor since I was 14, painting, repairing, fixing roofs, mowing acres of land while my sister got to study. He used to laugh and call me the son he never had. My mother would smirk, pretending it was affection. I believed it, because kids believe anything when it comes from parents. When I was older, I paid the bills. Electric, gas, even their mortgage once, when Dad was short. I thought I was supporting family. They called it duty. But the truth? It was exploitation, wrapped in the language of love. The shift came last year. Subtle at first. Conversations cut short when I entered a room. Whispers behind closed doors. My name left out of family toasts. Then one night, I walked past the kitchen and heard my mother's voice. "The deed's in our name. They don't realize that." I froze. My heart pounded, but my face betrayed nothing. That's when I knew. They weren't planning to share. They were planning to cut me out. So I didn't argue. I didn't confront. Instead, I started studying property law, ownership rights. My father's sloppy record-keeping became my weapon. The bills I paid, the transfers from my account, the renovations under my name. I documented everything. Every receipt became a blade. So when that message came, when my own mother tried to lock me out of the very house I had kept standing, my decision was already made. I called my lawyer at dawn. "File the petition," I said, voice steady. He didn't need clarification. We had been preparing for months. 2 days later, their lawyer emailed me in panic. "We have a problem. Call immediately." Of course they had a problem. Their iron cage of control had cracks, and I had widened them into a fracture. I didn't call. I waited. The confrontation came the following week in a sterile mediation office. They walked in first, my father red-faced, my mother smug, my sister silent but curious. I didn't look at them. I laid out a folder on the table. My lawyer slid it forward. Inside, proof. Every payment, every transfer, every repair under my name. Thousands upon thousands. Enough to establish equitable ownership. Enough to prove fraud. My father flipped through the pages, his smirk collapsing with each turn. My mother tried to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. My sister's eyes darted between us, realizing she wasn't the favored child after all. She was just a pawn. Finally, my lawyer spoke. Calm, precise. "My client isn't asking for repayment. He's asking for the property." Silence. The kind that suffocates. I watched their faces as the weight of it sank in. That house, their fortress, their kingdom, their weapon, was slipping from their grip. When the judge signed the order weeks later, I stood outside the courthouse with the keys in my hand. My keys. Not because they gave them to me, because the law had. Because I had turned their greed against them. The first thing I did wasn't to move back in. No, that house was poisoned by memory. Instead, I sold it, at a profit. And with that money, I bought a smaller place. Quiet, clean, mine. They still send messages sometimes. My father tries guilt. "After everything we gave you." My mother tries venom. "You'll regret this when you're alone." But regret isn't in my vocabulary anymore. Because when they locked me out, they thought they'd taken my future. What they really did was hand me the match, and I burned their illusion to the ground. And now, when I sit in my new living room, sipping coffee in the silence, I smile. I smile because the locks they changed don't matter. I smile because the house they tried to keep is no longer theirs. And I smile because the message that was meant to break me became my final proof of their betrayal. They wanted me homeless. Instead, I left them powerless. And that is a victory I'll never return.